We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Graham Barton, Duke offensive lineman, and this guy is just Mr. Versatility. Played every single spot for Duke, over his whole career there. Really, really impressed with him. He does a lot of things super well. To me, I think he translates better to guard at the next level. Just considering, like the size, physical, athletic skill set that he has, I think he's better at guard. He's a people mover in the run game. Really good grip strength, heavy hands, displaces people, attacks with leverage, good angles. In pass protection, he's just really technically sound, gets the job done. Very square, understands how to use his hands, how to use torque, things like that. Very under control and balance too, has a good anchor. Definitely fun to watch in those areas when he recovers pretty well. I think just due to the, some of the limitations that he has, maybe like with the length and not being like a top tier athlete, he better fits in at guard. He sees the game well. He understands where he needs to be. Processes like twist and stunt super well. Looking at it from like the Dolphins perspective, because he's become a pretty big favorite for them, I feel like, in the mock drafts. So thinking about, Barton for the Dolphins, I think he'd be one of the better options that they can have. And I think he will be there. I also think there's even a chance they could trade back, still end up taking him, which would be, I think, a phenomenal position for them to be in. A lot of the other guys that I really like Troy Fatanu. I think Fatanu is the number 1 guard in this class and Barton's number 2. I think Fatanu will be gone. A few other guys could be gone, and I think Barton could fall into them and be a really solid pick. He just really understands what he needs to do. This rep right here, super solid anchor, gets out of his stance. He never really oversets. Does a good job playing like half-man relationship, staying patient. This is versus Jared Verse, who is a first-round pick for another edge rusher. Gets really low on him, too. Look at him just, boom, instantly anchor. Really good ankle flexion as well. Gets wide with his base, he bends at the knees, and he extends his hips, and just does a really good job stopping that in its tracks. Really like to see that type of work from Graham Barton, doing this stuff on the outside versus very good edge defenders, and just anchors, boom, instantly. And I like the lower body here, too. You can see some flexibility. He stays on his feet a lot, which I think is huge. Like seeing those types of plays from Graham Barton. I think that is huge for his game. Now we get to go back. Take a look at him here. Another play. Just getting him out in pass protection. More aggressive setting versus an outside linebacker. Guy tries to give him a little bit of move to the inside. He stays patient. Has some good hands. He can use both hands at the same time or use like independent hands, which is I think an important thing for a tackle. Gets aggressive on him and ends up putting him on the ground. Love that he has a little bit of nastiness to his game. He can definitely play with an aggressive streak. He can do it more shows off in the running game. But even being able to do this in pass protection is pretty impressive. Just gets to it, and you can see that he's able to set and win in different types of way, which I think is always important. Here we get to see him run blocking, which he looks really impressive. Look at him explode off the ball. Great burst off the ball, which I think is important. I know the 4 Bs that I look for in offensive linemen, they're how they bend in their lower half, burst off the ball, balance, which I think he does really well, and then like their base, which I think he always keeps a pretty good base. But that burst off the ball, saw him bend earlier. He gets low too. Love the leverage. Attack the low hip to work that combo. And look at him just move this guy down the line of scrimmage like it's nothing. Basically take out multiple people. Creates a huge running lane. Love the ability to displace here. I think he's a guy that can work in zone schemes, gap schemes, move in all different types of ways. He can be a puller. Get him out in space and screens. He does a pretty decent job too. I just feel like he'll be really, really good at guard at the next level. He can also play center too. He has experience playing center. Here we're looking at left tackle. That's where he played in 2023. But he can really do anything for you. I just feel like he's just one of those picks that's going to be like a super safe option in this draft class. Is going to work out. And I feel really good about that. And that's just absolutely dominant. Love the energy too after the fact because this guy gets into the end zone. Good job here, with his eyes. Sees 7 drop. Immediately find another guy that's working into his area. Boom, just square him up. Good job. It's versus a defensive tackle. Gets pushed back a little bit. Is able to anchor and slow him down. Now you're just mirroring matching. He's trying to work around you. Just really good job. Never, getting pushed back too far into the pocket. We'll re-win the leverage battle. And he does a pretty good job with his hands, bringing his feet across with his hands. Because sometimes he'll get like slightly out of position. Looks like, he might be overextended a little bit. Then he just brings his feet right with him. Good base, good balance. Love seeing that. Like when offensive linemen don't end on the ground a ton too, which I think is important. And boom, he just has a lot of reps like these where he just instantly will stonewall edges, especially when they're aligned a little tighter to him. They just try to get into the space quickly. They definitely would teach their O linemen to like get their hands like probably a little too wide he probably has to get him a little tighter at the next level. He gets him like up near like the shoulder pad area, but he does a great job with his grip strength, not allowing these guys to work out of it. And yeah, to me, it just looks like a guard. You can see the bend in the lower half, the wide base, which I love to see, and just instantly wins those reps. And that's what he was basically doing the whole game. I want to show this play because he understands torque. Sometimes things, it's all about the subtle things. Get out of here. And you want to, get this guy to the outside, create this movement so in case they work off this back view, he just, boom, tries to toss you at the club. Torque, extend with that right hand. Just using one hand at a time to do this, get him into the spot that you want him. He understands that, and I think, this is like typical guard work that he's doing at tackle here. And that's all important with the hips combined with the arm extension as well. And now you just get back in position, and then get that other hand within the chest, and now you just drive him to the outside. Ends up being cut back to the inside, but if, that room was there created, which he wanted. It's like the subtle little nuance things that you're able to do in the running game, and he does it really well. And even when guys try to do this, you can get a little out of control, maybe fall over, get overextended. He stays balanced and then still is able to continue and sustain with it, which I think is a big thing for Barton. Really big fan of his skill set in the running game. Just another quick win in pass protection. He just does it, gets out of his stance, under control. I mean, pretty solid athleticism, bursts out of it, nothing too crazy. Stays patient, gets two hands on him, one high hand, one low hand. Just fine, gets the left hand into the chest, the right hand up in the outside shoulder. And he's just now anchoring, extend the hips. Good base there as well. Nice flexible flexion in those ankles too. And bending at the knees and then extending. Just really, really nice. Squaring these people up. Really slows them down instantly. And it's like just rep after these against these guys. And this is a pretty good rep too, because guy like dips his shoulder, tries to him with like a little bit of a ghost move, a little bit of a bait here with that hand. He baits him and tries to get it to the outside. And right there, he's kind of in a bad position, but he's able to recover pretty quickly and just get back into it. Some guys, when they do this, just completely miss the chest, get overextended like this, would either, lose their balance, get out of control a little bit, but he's able to just stay under control, kind of hugs them a little bit without like blatantly holding, and then get back into your spot and completely wall them off. That's pretty good stuff. Like seeing the patience here, the body control, not panicking, and then boom, get your back into position to square them up and hold them off, and that's pretty good stuff. Here's an example of him just cutting someone off in the running game, which I think is huge, because this guy's a 2 right here, and he's lined up straight up headed with the guard, and he's able to get out of his stance, get out pretty quick laterally, which I think is important if he's going to play more guard at the next level. Get your hat across him, and then get your hips too, to seal him pretty nicely. That gives me pretty good hope that, he can work in some like outside zone schemes, or, they're kind of doing some like pin pull stuff here too, but ends up being, similar conceptually, at least for him on this play, where he just got to get out of the laterally, take a good angle. He understands that stuff. I feel like he's just a really well-rounded player. This is pretty nice to see, picking up, these twists, these stunts. Guy works hard to the inside, pass him off to your guard. You're staying square, staying patient. Once you've thrown him off this way, you have the eyes to see the other guy looping around, and then you seal it off. The ball's coming out as you make contact with him, but it just a good job recognizing that. Here, he's getting out, sees that this linebacker is blitzing. He's, thinks he's going to be responsible for this guy. You got to get the innermost guy. So he recognizes it, comes off, because this guy has a quicker path to the quarterback. So he's able to see that, and then, throw him off balance, give your quarterback enough time to release the ball down the field. That's the type of thing that you like to see. You need to do this all over the O-line. It can happen at tackle, it can happen at guard, but that type of situation, it's good recognition skills to at least get your body there. Really nice work from Barton. Liked seeing him from the mental side of the game. He does things well technically. I think, overall from like a physical standpoint, he moves people, has some good strength in the running game. Athletically, I think he's pretty solid. He's got like good balance and body control, and has some explosiveness when he's moving forward. I wouldn't say he's, the most athletic guy. That's why I'm thinking more you move him into the guard. And yeah, just really well-rounded. And then processing, I think he does a good job of all of that. Sealing guys off in the running game, not trying to reach this guy, just move him out of your space. Sometimes these guys do set the edge. Sometimes you're trying to reach them and you're trying to capture the edge. Sometimes, you're just trying to get these guys widen, and these guys can hit up through these lanes. At Duke here, clearly was them trying to, not try to capture the edge, but, just create a bunch of space out here. And he does a good job driving and moving these guys out of here. Let them set that edge, but get them wide enough to where they can hit up through these lanes right there where you can bang through. And they have all the room to work with. Really like enjoying watching him work in the running game. Another example of him really looking good in the running game. Exploding off the ball in a combo. He looks really good on combos and double teams. Attack the low hip, does a great job with leverage. You attack that low hip, you move them so much out of the way, knocks those guys to the ground, and then has still able to stay on his feet, even though, he gets really like overextended there, and then find the linebacker and then seal him off, get your hips across, and then the running back is able to work off the back of it. You do, like Barton did a really good job on this play. Attack the low hip, take him completely out of the play, then find the linebacker, seal him off too, while all staying on his feet when there's just a big cluster of people on the ground too. That's just impressive work. Really enjoy watching Graham Barton work in the running game. He is an absolute beast in there. And I think, he'll do a really good job at the interior of that at the next level. So to me, probably the second overall guard in the class. Really enjoy watching his film. I feel like he's one of the safer options in this draft class. Late first round guy that I feel like just works out. So if you guys are doing, make sure to like, subscribe. Let's get to my beat.